40% of your syllabus deals with law of reflection. So let's recap the law of reflection. Light usually travels in a straight line. This we have seen. It changes direction if it hits a shiny surface. This too you guys know. This change in direction at a shiny surface, such as a mirror, is called a reflection. Right? That's your reflection. So basically, if I have a light hitting any shiny surface, it will bounce off. So does it bounce in a random manner? That is, does it, just go there or here, or where does it go? So does the reflection happen at a random angle? Well, actually not. The reflection happens as per the nature. That is, if you need to answer this, answer is no. It follows a rule defined by nature, and this rule we call it as, what is it? Law of reflection. So we have divided this observation of the reflection that is happening in nature into two parts. One is to do with angles, another is to do with a plane. Okay. So now, before we start with the law itself, we need to understand few terminologies. So let's actually look at a reflection happening and then we can continue. So what did we see? I had a laser at one end and I happened to hit a mirror. It bounced off. Is it not? It bounced off. I also happen to have one more laser that is just sitting idle in this manner. Okay, I try to keep it perpendicular to the surface. This is very important. I try to keep it perpendicular to surface. This is the photo from that video. This line, I'll change the color. So this line, I try to keep it perpendicular to the surface, and this generally from this end, I try to switch on my laser and hit the mirror in this particular point. So as you can see, I have kept a protractor. This angle looks to be equal to this angle. Kind of. Anyways, we're trying to learn here the terminologies. So if I happen to keep the laser over here from this end and hit the mirror, this ray, right? This is a ray. This ray is known as incident ray. Does it make sense? The point wherein you hit the surface is known as point of incidence. At this point, perpendicular to the surface, if you draw a normal, if you draw a line, again, at the point of incidence, okay, if you happen to draw a perpendicular line to the surface, not to the incident ray, this is known as normal. The name given to this line is normal. In math, if you use the word normal, it means it's equal to 90 degree. Okay, so these two are normal. That is, this line and the surface are normal to each other. That is, they make an angle of 90 degree. And the light bounces off in this particular direction. This is known as reflected ray. Okay. Again, this is where I have kept the laser. This is the incident ray. Where the incident ray and the mirror meets is your point of incidence. At the point of incidence, perpendicular to the surface, right, I'll draw a line, and that is called as normal. Bouncing off from the point of incidence is your reflected ray. There are two more terms. It is to do with angles. The angle made by the normal and the incident ray is angle of incidence. The angle between the normal and the reflected ray is angle of reflection. You guys have to remember this. This is your angle of incidence, and this happens to be your angle of reflection. So this is pretty much all the names that we need to know. Okay, these are all the terminologies. So just one last time: incident ray, reflected ray. All the definition and everything is given. So let's have a look. Incident ray, ray that falls on the mirror. Reflected ray, ray that bounces off the mirror. Normal, it's an imaginary line. It's not an actual line. Here, I just happen to show it with a laser just so that it's very clear. You know, I need not draw and all of that. It's visually, it's very clear. So it's an imaginary line drawn at the point of incidence perpendicular to the surface. In this case, mirror. The angle of incidence is the angle measured between the incident ray and the normal. Angle of reflection is the angle measured between reflected ray and the normal. Point of incidence, this should have been somewhere in the middle of the sequence. Anyways, point where the incident ray strikes the mirror. Okay, so to summarize, I have a edited version of the video. So please have a look at this. Right. So before we start with the law itself, okay, there's nothing much to write over here. So I want you guys to write the terminologies. First is the diagram. Okay, so please do copy this diagram with the labeling and all of that. This diagram with this labeling. Okay, and then if you guys have any confusion, you can copy from this. If not, it's okay. But the diagram and the understanding part is very important.